The big three are the popular shonen manga known as One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach. While there are multiple things that make these manga great, I believe that the biggest reason as to why no shonen series will ever get close to them is their strong starts. I'm not just talking about a good first chapter or episode, I'm talking about a series of back-to-back hard-hitting volumes. Modern manga like Academia and Black Clover haven't been able to accomplish this. First, One Piece. The manga starts off with a flashback, but the anime starts off with the Alvida section. In the first episode, Luffy has already inspired a person to change and shown off how badass he is. Immediately afterwards, they go to rescue Zoro. Zoro has a cool and respectable backstory as to why he is in his current position, and a tragic backstory alongside an amazing dream. Luffy also yet again inspires change in others after an interesting turn of events. Now, Luffy and Zoro both show off their epic skills. At the end, Kobe and Luffy have a powerful scene together. Keep in mind, this is 7 chapters in 4 episodes. Next is the Buggy arc. We have interesting villains like Buggy, characters with sad and tragic backstories like Chocho, new crewmates like Nami, and cool fights. At chapter 21 and episode 8, we've had 3 good storylines with good stories, characters, backstories, fights, and messages. In the next arc, they go to an island and learn about the Grand Line before they head to Usopp's Island, where the main story takes place. There is yet again good characters, self-contained plot, fights, and message accompanied by powerful scenes. The next arc is fairly similar, except this one stands out a little because Zoro suffers his first loss in the plot, which leads him to make his great promise, and Nami leaves the crew at the end. The Arlong Park arc follows a similar formula, but here it focuses heavily on a crewmate and the themes of friendship, having even more powerful moments compared to the others. This is at chapter 44 and episode 27, what I consider to be One Piece's start, but I will talk about the next saga because it raises the level of the whole story. The remainder of the arc is pretty tame, but the arrival of the Alabasta saga is what's important. The crew is for the first time facing off against an organization. While the effective formula of the previous saga remains, the stories are all connected through the Baroque works coming after them. Each villain gets increasingly dangerous until they reach the Alabasta arc, where the crew is finally pushed to their limits in their battles. Luffy even loses against the main antagonist twice before beating him. The whole arc has a feeling of hopelessness and an overall more complex story. This is at chapter 217 and episode 130. Next is Naruto. In the first chapter and episode, we are introduced to Naruto and his tragic past. Naruto is a failure at the beginning, but by the end, he's able to graduate from the academy after an epic beatdown, setting up the themes of Naruto. The second and third chapters and episodes focus on introducing rivals and important characters. Episodes 4 and 5 have the main characters having an epic fight with what is at the moment one of the strongest ninja in the series. The characters show off their abilities, and at the end, there is a powerful message about teamwork. For the remainder of the arc, the entire team puts their lives on the line about 3 times while on a mission that goes out of control. Each time, there was a chance that one of the characters could die. Sasuke, the second main character, almost dies in his battle against Haku. There is a great storyline that really builds upon the world. There are crazy fight scenes like Kakashi vs Zabuza and Naruto and Sasuke vs Haku, characters with tragic backstories like Zabuza, Haku, and Inari, and Naruto delivers powerful and inspirational speeches alongside his actions that allow Inari and Zabuza to change their ways, greatly impacting the direction the story takes. At the end, characters die, tears are shed, and the ninjas are able to change the land of waves for the better. This is all in 33 chapters and 19 episodes. Next is the Chunin exams. I already have a video on that, so I'll be only saying a few things here. The Chunin exams has a lot of complex stories, plot twists, subplots, developments for the characters, and world building, all in just one long arc. This leaves us at chapter 138 and episode 80, and is what I consider the start of Naruto. Of course, like One Piece, it continues to get even better, giving great highs in the search for Tsunade, and arguably higher highs than the exams in the Sasuke recovery mission. And finally, we have Bleach. Bleach's first episode and chapter introduce us to Ichigo, his family, and Rukia. Ichigo transforms into a Shinigami, and it turns into a monster of the week, where Ichigo and Rukia slay hollows. But it isn't that simple. There are multiple mini arcs within the first arc. There is one that introduces Orihime and her past, one that does the same for Chad, one that introduces Kon and his struggle, one that dives into Ichigo's past, and so on. Not only do these episodes introduce and develop interesting characters, but they also have interesting plot lines to complement them. The hollow for Orihime's mini arc is her older brother who got jealous. The hollow for Chad's mini arc was a murderer who was chasing down his accidental killer that is now trapped within a bird. The hollow for Ichigo's mini arc is the same hollow that killed his mother. Towards the middle of the first arc, Uryu LaQuincy is introduced, and his kind had a conflict with Shinigami. This arc has Orihime and Chad awaken their powers to fight hollows and save people. It also has Ichigo defeating a Menos Grande, an extremely powerful type of hollow. At the end of the arc, Renji and Byakuya come from the Soul Society to take Rukia to her execution for breaking the rules. Ichigo and Uryu try to stop them, but are defeated. The main cast with powers then trains with Kisuke Urahara to prepare for the next arc. This leaves us at episode 20 and chapter 70. The next arc is the beloved Soul Society arc. This is when the main characters go to the Soul Society to save Rukia. After finding a way to infiltrate, the characters go through battle after battle. This arc reveals the true powers of the Shinigami and builds on the world. Stakes continue to rise as Rukia's execution date is moved, and the group is forced to face even stronger Shinigami. There's even time for cool training scenes, for characters to unlock new powers. Ichigo's efforts to save Rukia are supported by some of his current enemies, and Shinigami begin fighting Shinigami. Aizen, one of the captains, is apparently killed by someone during this time. By the end of the arc, when Ichigo defeats his final opponent, Aizen shows up to mess up everything. Apparently Aizen never died, and the council that the Shinigami were receiving orders from had been dead for a while. Aizen takes down Ichigo, Renji, and Komura, removes an object called the Hogyoku from Rukia, and departs with 2 other squad captains to the world of Hollows. This arc remains as the best arc in Bleach, and this leaves us at episode 63 and chapter 183. The big three all share common aspects in their starts. Firstly, they waste almost no time in getting started. While Naruto takes its second chapter off, the rest is straightforward. From the start, you know One Piece is a manga where Luffy will go to multiple islands to save people and get new crewmates. You know Naruto is a manga where the ninja are going to learn to be ninja and rise up the ranks. You know Bleach is a monster of the week that implements strong characters and storylines for each mini arc. This is positive because it forces the story to stay focused. Again, Naruto does start off with a 3-chapter prologue, but apart from that, the big three jump right into their style of story and rarely ever change. But when they do, it's to fit the direction of the story and is for an entire arc, like the Chunin exams or the Soul Society. Secondly, these 3 mangas start off with small and short stories before moving on to bigger and longer ones. This allows them to slowly introduce us to the main cast and the world before taking off. It allows mangaka to take time and focus on individual characters. For Bleach, I explained it earlier, but Orihime, Chad, Kon, Ichigo, and Uryu all have a mini arc dedicated to diving into their character and their past. One Piece does a similar thing. Instead, it has a full arc to do this for some characters. Nami, Usopp, and Sanji all have an arc dedicated to them. Naruto does this a little differently though. The manga starts off with comical slice-of-life storylines to introduce the characters before moving into its plot. The second chapter is for Konohamaru and Naruto, but the third is for Sakura and Sasuke. Kakashi doesn't get his own time, but he's meant to be mysterious. At the start of these manga, they never dump a large cast of characters on us. By slowly introducing them, they give us a chance to immediately care for the character. There is rarely ever a character in the spotlight that we don't care about. And finally, the big three all deliver strong stories, themes, and messages from the start. One Piece has Luffy teaching Kobe to be strong and to stand up for himself in the Romance Dawn arc. Naruto's first chapter is about hard work. Its second chapter has Naruto teaching Konohamaru about commitment and how there are no shortcuts. And the third chapter has Sasuke berating Sakura for making fun of Naruto being an orphan, teaching a lesson about understanding others. Bleach's themes are about grief and the struggle to overcome them, with messages about protecting loved ones. The start of a story is one of the most important parts because it is the hook. If a viewer doesn't like the first chapter or episode, what incentive do they have to read or watch the next? I believe that these 3 things allow for the big three to have such effective beginnings as manga. They hook the viewer and then slowly get them attached to the characters and the world. I haven't really seen any shonen manga nail the start like this, old or new. Of course, that isn't all that makes the big three stand above all shonen, but I definitely think it's one of the most important. Thank you for watching. Follow me on Twitter, like, share, comment, and subscribe for more content.